It is no secret to longtime fans of the channel that trading card games have been a big influence in my life, both on and off the channel. In this series, both DemonBattler and myself will be opening 24 packs, or one box, of each core Yu-Gi-Oh! Booster set in chronological order. After each opening, we will build decks from all of the cards we have opened thus far, then duel each other in a best-of-3 match with 3 prizes up for grabs to improve our decks. The winner will receive 2 of those prizes, and the loser will get 1. The possibilities for prizes are almost limitless, including single cards, sealed product, structure decks, and much more. Every card in the entire game's history will be obtainable in some form. However, neither of us will be able to rest on past laurels easily. The ever-changing official Forbidden and Limited list, our own choices of cards to be banished to the Shadow Realm, and even changes to the very rules of the game will keep our decks and duels fresh. This is yet another Yu-Gi-Oh! Progression series. Flaming Eternity was released March 1st, 2005. While the set contained no new archetypes, it did finish a lot of card cycles from the last several sets. We'll go over some of the noteworthy cards. Insect Knight is a 1900 4-star that will be useful in certain decks later on, especially ones containing advanced ritual art. A Hand of Nephthys is a way to get out the cover card Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys. Armed Samurai Benkai is something that I'm a bit excited about. This is a way to OTK using equipment. It is an all-in combo deck that I will consider playing because I picked up a copy of Mage Power out of Dark Beginning 1. Golem Sentry is another Pac-Man piece, although I don't think we will be playing it. Light Hex Sealed and Dark Hex Sealed fusions are fusion subs that you can attribute summon for fusion monsters if you have the materials on the field. And there's also an Earth Hex Sealed fusion as well. So these could be something to play around with if we do get some of the good fusions. And then we have Rescue Cat. So Rescue Cat is one of those cards that was power level eroded back in the mid-2010s. The Rescue Cat that we will be playing with until then, it is not a hard once per turn, and the effects are not negated. This card will not be very good now, but this card will be very useful once we get to 5D's era and we are able to summon double X-Saber or Bellum off of it. And then if it's still not banned by then, we may even be able to use this once we get to Zexal era, as this is a 1-card rank 3 engine. And now for some of the spells. There aren't a lot of great spells or traps in this set at common, but one thing I do want to discuss is pole position. So pole position, there are a lot of problems with this card. It's very easy to create infinite loops, and because of the rules issues with this card, both DemonBattler and I have agreed to ban pole position from the start. So we will need to keep track of how many copies of pole position that we open, and then these will be replaced with random commons from the set if we don't get playsets. So what pole position does is it makes it so the monster on the field with the highest attack is unaffected by spell cards. So this is very easy to cause infinite loops. A Threatening Roar is going to be a staple going forward to be able to protect against OTKs. This is a chainable fog in that it just stops combat, and this is going to be played in side decks and eventually main decks once the decks get more explosive with more summoning mechanics. And then DD Dynamite is an interesting one as well. Once we get Banishing Floodgates, we may be able to play this as a burn card. This does 300 damage to your opponent for each banished card they have. And that is all of the commons. The rares are pretty good as well. We have Chiron the Mage, which is an 1800. It is back row removal. Once per turn, you can discard a spell card from your hand to blow up a back row. Spell Absorption is good with the Fire Princess deck. It gives you 500 life points every time a spell card is activated. Swords of Concealing Light is a very interesting way to stop your opponent from attacking. It only lasts for 2 turns, but it does set all of your opponent's monsters, and then they can't change battle position for 2 turns. The big rare that we will be chasing is Phoenix Wing Wind Blast. So this is an incredibly powerful tempo tool that I will probably play in the water deck if I get it. You can discard a card, and then you get to put any card your opponent controls on top of the deck. So this gets a threat off the field, and it denies your opponent a draw. It is one of the most powerful tempo tools in the game. And the rest of these aren't too much worth talking about. We have a couple of okay super rares in this set, but there is one that I'm going to be chasing. Grandmarg the Rock Monarch is the worst of the 4 individual monarchs. If you tribute summon it, you get to blow up a set card on the field. If you are the only one with set cards, you will need to destroy one of your own, and if they chain the card that you target, it doesn't get destroyed. And we have a lot of chainable stuff right now. So Behemoth, the King of All Animals, is an interesting one. It is a beast payoff that lets you recoup the disadvantage by being able to recur beast-type monsters. I don't think we're going to be playing this unless we get a huge beast engine later, but it is definitely an interesting card. A Feather of the Phoenix is a -2, so we won't be playing this in most decks. This card lets you discard a card, then put a card on top of your deck. So it costs you a card out of your hand, and it costs you a draw phase, so it's a -2. But this can be used in combo decks to be able to recur specific cards, such as any of the jars. I've only ever really played a Feather of the Phoenix in Empty Jar, but it does have its uses. The big super rares we're going to be chasing are Lightning Vortex and Deck Devastation Virus. A Lightning Vortex is something I would really like to have, because I don't have any board wipes yet. And this is to discard a card, you can destroy all of your opponent's face-up monsters. It's the closest to Raigeki that I'm probably ever going to get. And I wouldn't mind seeing this in multiple copies as well, because this does get limited as soon as it's released on the next ban list. However, it doesn't stay limited for very long. And then Deck Devastation Virus is the other very strong super rare. This does get limited as well. You tribute a dark monster with 2,000 or more attack, and then you get to see your opponent's hand, all the monsters they control, including face-down ones, and all of the cards that your opponent draws for the next 3 turns, and you get to destroy any monster with 1,500 or less attack. This is very powerful against control decks, if you can facilitate this. And this is something I might play if I continue to play the beatdown deck. And then the 4 ultra rares aren't fantastic. Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys is the cover card. This is a menace to deal with. If you can get this out, it's very difficult to lose. It blows up all back row when it's special summoned by its effect, and its effect procs whenever it's destroyed by a card effect. You get to summon it from your graveyard during your next standby, and then you Heavy Storm. And it's a 2,400 body. It's very powerful. This saw all kinds of play when it was released. And then the only other interesting ultra rare is Gatling Dragon, which is a very expensive card now. It's had a common reprint in OTS Pack 7, and it's still a $15 card. The reason why this is so expensive, it's because this is the only level 8 monster that's a fusion that's actually good in GOAT format. So if you need to Metamorphosis a Black Luster Soldier to get more removal, this is your best target. And I certainly wouldn't mind this, because I do have copies of Metamorphosis, and making 8s in some decks can be pretty easy. We'll never fusion summon this, though. Alright, 24 packs of Flaming Eternity to end the DM era. We're looking mostly for Lightning Vortex, Deck Devastation Virus, and some of the rares such as Phoenix Wing Wind Blast. So let's go ahead and crack our first pack, and nothing special. We did get an Insect Knight, which could be relevant later, but nothing that's going to help us immediately. Oh, I take that back. That's a Benkai. We could look into playing Benkai OTK, especially with the mage power that we have. We have some equip support from Dark Crisis. I think there's enough to make this work. And there is an ultimate rare Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys. That's the cover card, too. We're probably going to end up playing that. That card is incredibly challenging to deal with. Spell Absorption isn't bad either, but man, this would be quite the card to open in real life. Not just because of that it's the cover card and it's an ultimate rare and it's a $130 card, but I have seen one of these in person before, and it is a gorgeous looking ultimate rare. But that is indeed the cover card, and we also got a second Benkai. And there's our copy of Rescue Cat. By the time that becomes relevant, it will be limited. That's all I have to say about the card now. And there's a super rare. It is Behemoth, the King of All Animals. This is something we may play if we can actually make a Beast Engine work, because there are plenty of ways to cheat that tribe out, and a 2700 body is pretty big. It can also be a 1 Tribute 2000 in a pinch. And there is a second Behemoth, the King of All Animals. That's looking good if we want to play the Beast deck. But we also amusingly got another copy of Spiral Spear Strike, which has my spirit monster on it, Gaia the Dragon Champion. Always has been and always will be my spirit monster in this game. Unfortunately, we won't get Gaia support until much, much later in the progression series, and it is all pretty high rarity, so quite unlikely that we'll actually get to play it. Another Insect Knight's good. We do want to see 3 of those. That is going to be one of the components, along with Metal Armored Bug from Invasion of Chaos, for some ARA decks later. There's Swords of Concealing Light. That's an interesting one. It's a pseudo-attack floodgate that sets all of your opponent's monsters, and then they can't change their battle position for 2 turns, but it doesn't stop monsters summoned after Swords of Concealing Light is played from attacking. Just the ones that were on the field at the time that the card was activated. Now that we have Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys, we also want to see Hand of Nephthys as well, because that lets us turbo out our boss monster significantly faster. And that is our first Threatening Roar, 9 packs in. That is a card that we will want to see 3 of. I'm pretty confident that we'll get 3 of it with how small these sets are, but our first one, 9 packs in, is a little bit worrying. There's a Phoenix Wing Wind Blast. We're looking for 3 of those, because then we can play some absolutely back-breaking tempo tools. Remember that water deck that had the 3 Compulses that was giving a demon a bunch of trouble? Well, what if we played that deck but with 3 Compulses and 3 Phoenix Wing Wind Blasts? But all you have to do is just, at that point, if you get ahead, you're never going to give up bleed. And that is also our playset of Benkai, in case we do want to play the equip deck. And that Mage Power, I might have to consider it after opening that Mage Power out of Dark Beginning. And there's a Chiron the Mage, that's another solid rare. That's back row removal, and we're a bit low on back row removal, so we might go out of our way to play this. And there is another ultimate rare. That is an ultimate rare King Dragoon. Now, you might recall that the Hex-Sealed Fusions are in this set, so if we do want to play a Fusion Summon deck, then we would be able to play this. We'll just need the Fusion Substitute cards to do so. We still don't have any Polys, and we didn't get any Polys out of Dark Beginning 1, but we will have plenty of options for getting Fusion cards later on. But King Dragoon as an ultimate rare is pretty gorgeous too. Just the lightning that surrounds him looks absolutely incredible as an ultimate rare. And there is a third Behemoth, the King of All Animals. We are going to have to build something around that at some point. Maybe not now, but that's a pretty good build around. I just don't know if we have the pieces to do it yet. Meteor of Destruction is an interesting burn card that you would use early on in the game. You just can't activate it when your opponent's life points are 3,000 or less. But it is efficient at what it does. And there's a Gatling Dragon. That's about the only other good ultra rare in the set. If we can make a level 8, we can metamorphosis the level 8 into Gatling Dragon, and that's a very powerful removal tool. Gatling Dragon also is just disgustingly expensive for no reason. It has a common printing in a fairly recent OTS pack, and it's still a $15 card. And there is a Gearfried the Swordmaster, which is an ultra rare we won't be able to use because we don't have Gearfried the Iron Knight. Demon might play this as a meme if he gets it, but we are not going to be playing Gearfried the Swordmaster because we do not have the materials to make it. We did get our third Insect Knight though, which is good. And there's a Phoenix Wing Wind Blast. That is our second one. All I ask is one more. That also fills out our playset of Hand of Nephthys, so that might actually be something to consider. And there's our first copy of Spell Absorption. This is a card that, unfortunately, we need 3 copies of to really make work. Excuse me, that's the second copy of Spell Absorption, but still, that's a card you really need 3 copies of to work. And we also need Fire Princess to make that deck work, which is a common in Dark Beginning 1, so we may have more options to get it. However, Dark Beginning 1 is a big set, and we only have very limited packs of it available. And there's another super rare that is a Feather of the Phoenix, not the one we're looking for. It's an interesting card for combo decks, but that's about it. Most other decks really cannot afford to take a -2 effectively to be able to recycle a card. Okay, so only a few packs left. We did get most of the stuff we were looking for. I wouldn't mind another Phoenix Wing Windblast or one of the big 2 supers. But let's go ahead and flip up our last 3 packs. That is nothing special. We did get our second Threatening Roar, and that is another card I'd like to see one more copy of. None of these other cards are particularly exciting. Moving on to our second to last pack, nothing in here either. And then for our very last pack, can we get a last pack Miracle? We cannot. So only 2 Phoenix Wing Windblast, only 2 Threatening Roar, which is very annoying. If we get a common wildcard, we may have to consider that. But I would say overall this opening was average, maybe a little below average. We didn't get either of the big 2, but we did pick up some pretty solid rares. So I'll see you in deck building. I figured it would be thematically appropriate to just go into an all-out blaze of glory for the end of the Duel Monsters era. So this is the deck that we are bringing to today's duel. Welcome to Ben-Kai OTK. So the reason why I decided to go with this deck is primarily because of the Mage Power that I opened out of my Dark Beginning 1 packs, as well as picking up all the Matazas out of those Invasion of Chaos packs, and we have a much higher density of equips this time around. So if we can pull this off even in one game, I will be very happy. So I'll take you down the card by card. We have 3 Armed Samurai Ben-Kai from a Flaming Eternity. This is our primary win condition. It has 500 attack and 800 defense. However, it gets an additional number of attacks during each battle phase equal to the number of equips that are attached to it. So all you need to do is get 3 equips on this, and that should take it to over 2,000 attack, and it's a straight-up OTK. That's the goal of the deck. It's pretty magical Christmas land, but if we can pull it off, it'll be absolutely wonderful. 1 copy of Blade Knight, which we won when we did our draft of the 2004 Collector's Tins. This is a pretty strong card. It's a light warrior, which is relevant for the 2 Chaos Sorcerer. I would play 3 of these if I had them, but I only have 2. I have 1 copy of Freed the Brave Wanderer. The effect probably isn't going to be relevant as we only have 6 lights in the entire deck, but we are playing enough lights to be able to make Chaos Sorcerer work. 2 copies of Iron Blacksmith Kotetsu. We unfortunately only pulled 2 of this, but this card is very good. It lets us tutor any equip out. We don't have Snatch Steal anymore. This would have been sick to tutor Snatch Steal with, but of course that was getting banned so quickly. 2 copies of Magician of Faith, 2 Mahavilo. I went down to 2 because I have an equip in this deck that can only be attached to warriors, just because I need a good equip density, and you can't attach Lightning Blade to Mahavilo. You can only attach it to a warrior. 3 Mataza the Zapper. I had to wildcard 2 of these to be able to play this deck, but it is going to be so worth it. This is an alternate win condition of sorts. It's a 1300 double attacker that can't be swapped around with creature swap, change of heart, or anything like that. Then we have 1 copy of Ninja Grandmaster Sasuke from Soul the Duelist. I only opened 1 of this, would have loved to see 3. This lets you destroy any face-up defense position monster that gets attacked. Then 1 Sangen and 1 Witch of the Black Forest, 2 Search for our win condition, that rounds out the monsters. For the spells, we have a lot of equips in this deck. 1 Big Bang Shot. This was all the way back from Magician's Force. I only got 1 of these, and this was out of the extra packs that I got on the wheel. This is a 400 attack point boost that gives piercing to the monster. However, it does make the monster vulnerable to backer removal. 1 Black Pendant, 1 Fairy Meteor Crush, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, 1 Lightning Blade. Almost all of our monsters are warriors, so we can use this to add 800 points to any of our monsters. I would play more copies of this if I had it, but I only pulled 1 of it, and it's a common. And then Mage Power. This is the big card that we got out of our Dark Beginning 1 packs. This adds 500 attack and defense for every back row that we have. This card is currently limited, and it's going to stay limited for a very long time. 3 Malevolent Nuzzler, 1 My Body as a Shield, 1 Pot of Greed, 1 Reinforcement of the Army, this is another way to get to Benkai, and then 1 Stim Pack rounding out the spells. For the traps, we have 2 Blast with Chain, which is more equips. We're playing a total of 11 equips in this deck, which should be enough to get to that threshold for 8,000 quick damage. 3 copies of Compulse, 1 copy of Dust Tornado, 1 Ring of Destruction, 1 7 Tools of the Bandit, and 1 Solemn Judgment. I tried to make as many cards in this deck as proactive as possible, because I want to have as much stuff chainable as possible. Anything that's a reactive card is to be used on whatever will destroy either Benkai or whatever I have stacked vertically. Now, for the side deck plan, I get the feeling that Demon might still have some equip hate in his side deck, so if we suspect he might have the equipment hate, then I can transform into a more traditional warrior-based deck that doesn't lose when you destroy one of its monsters. 2 Mystic Swordsman level 2 for the control decks, 1 Confiscation if we know we're going first, 1 Nobleman of Extermination, we picked this up off of Dark Beginning 1 as well. This is backrow removal, which is something that we're desperately needing. 2 copies of Prohibition, 1 Remove Trap for more backrow removal, 3 copies of the Allied Forces. This is our secondary game plan. This gives all of your warrior monsters 200 extra attack for each warrior and spellcaster type monster you control. This will allow us to get our double attackers up much higher, and it makes even 1 warrior type monster plus 200, so it can turn, say, Blade Knight into an 1800, which is pretty sweet. And then 3 Sakuretsu Armor and 1 Mirror Force, because we're going to be boarding in removal. And then the final My Body as a Shield. This was the last cut to the deck. If Demon is on a lot more removal than he has been, I will need to bring this in. And then for the extra deck, a bunch of stuff that we can't play. I am going to show off the King Dragoon at the end of the episode, though, because this card is so cool. Hopefully we can get some OTKs and then be able to tie things up in this progression series going into Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. And now, for the last time, it is time to duel. I can't believe we've already reached the end of an era. Flaming Eternity, the last set in DM. After this, we get to go to dueling school, don't we?
Yes, we do. And honestly, it's going to be interesting to see how that all works out for us.
But first, we have one more set to go through in the Duel Monsters era. So let's go ahead and get this one last match started. Cool,
Darn.
I will take it. I will be on the play for this one. Good luck, Duelist.
Good luck.
Alright, draw for turn, standby, main. I am just going to set a monster and pass.
Alright, I draw. Standby main. Ooh. Well, here's a good start to the round.
It seems okay.
You have an Ash Blossom for me already?
Maybe if we fast forward about 13 years, I might have one.
Alright.
I am a little disappointed in our first series. I think we only ever had a Pot of Greed ashed once.
I think so. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and set one, and I think I'm going to go ahead and set 2 more.
Draw for turn, standby, main. Yuck. I'm just going to pass.
Alright, draw. Standby main. Ooh. That's kind of iffy. You know what? I think I'm going to have to go for a little bit of... Nah, I'm going to be patient. I'm going to pass.
Alright, draw for turn, standby, main. You know what? If that's an old Vindictive Magician, so be it. No guts, no glory.
Ooh.
Clear the back row.
Alright, well, then I think I'm going to go ahead and chain a Phoenix Wing Wind Blast. I'm going to pitch...
To stack my set.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pitch this Harpy Lady Sisters.
Oh,
set your monster.
I was wondering if you're going to be on that, so let's go ahead and put this on top. Okay, well, if this isn't... Well, this doesn't quite kill you, but this will put you in a precipitous situation, and you're going to see what's up. I'm gonna normal summon Armed Samurai Benkai. Let's go!
Oh, fuck me running.
Suit him up. Battle phase. 26.
Okay, that takes out my Hand of Nephthys.
And then 7,800 direct. Go.
Wow, okay,
Let's go!
Christ, okay, well, I think I'm gonna start by firing off a Book of Moon. Let's set that Benkei.
I mean, that will do it. I will destroy that, and then I'm gonna actually put this on top of my deck.
Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and banish my Harpy Lady Sisters to special summon a Sylphid.
Sure.
Then I am going to sack that Sylphid for my Mobius.
Sure, you have a Mobius.
And Mobius is going to go ahead and crash your monster.
Sure, the Benkai dies. Draw for turn, standby main. Putting that Malevolent Nuzzler on top just won me the game.
Oh.
Game over?
Wait.
2750, baby!
God
Benkai
damn,
OTK
okay.
got there! I can't believe it! I cannot believe Benkai OTK actually got there.
What the bloody fuck?
I don't even care if I lose this match now.
I don't even know how to fucking react to that one! What the fuck, dude?
Well, it's been 11 episodes since I played the Equip deck, and I think it performed pretty well for that game.
Benkei OTK. How the hell did I not think that you would try that bullshit?
Somebody forgot Benkei was in Flaming Eternity, clearly.
Oh my god, okay. Alright, so I draw, standby main. God, this is actually a bit concerning for me now. I think I'm just gonna do a T-set and pass.
Sure, draw for turn, standby main. Sasuke.
Alright.
Battle phase. 18 into your set.
That is my Sangen.
You got it.
So let's see what I can take up.
I was wondering which of us was going to be the first one to play Harpies just to be able to play Hunting Ground for back row removal.
Alright, I think I'm going to add a Kamakiri.
Floater's going to float. After combat, set one. Go.
Alright. Draw. Ooh, that's a good card.
That is a good card.
That might be even better.
I would like my chance at Graceful Charity, but it's not for a few sets out.
I think I'm going to pitch my Sky Scout and a copy of...
I know what you should pitch. You should pitch Icarus Attack.
Oh, har har.
Oh, come on. You jabbed at me earlier. I gotta jab at you for...
Fair enough.
Yeah, if you're gonna jab at me about Ash Blossom, I gotta give you heck for Icarus Attack.
Okay, I'm gonna run out Kamakiri. And then, question is, do I fear your back row? I kinda do. I'm gonna activate Harpy's Hunting Ground.
You got it.
Alright, so, battle, I'm gonna crash my Kamakiri into your monster.
I don't need you doing that. I was gonna crash it, but I was gonna ring it before I saw the Hunting Ground, but now I really have an incentive to do so.
Well, actually, wait, I'm gonna take that back a minute, because I just realized I can actually use that instead.
Oh, yeah, that'll save you some life points. Yeah, that'll save you some life points. That's a pretty good use of Econ, I'm not gonna lie.
I'll hit you for 8. Main 2, gonna set a card, and then I'll pass.
Also, you have an enemy controller?
Oh yeah, I pulled one back in, I think it was Soul of the Duelist.
It's an Ancient Sanctuary, it's an Ultra!
Oh.
That card is disgustingly good. Draw for turn, stand by main. I am going to... Well, I think I need to get damage in now. Vilo good?
Ooh,
Is Vilo good?
Vilo's good.
Stimpack?
Stimpack's good.
Alright, battle phase. 18. Play around Gores that doesn't exist yet.
Alright, I'll take
2750.
18. Hell no on that.
Yeah, I kind of saw that coming. That's fine. Go.
Alright, standby main. Ooh, I kind of wish I... that's not terrible, but... it's a goddamn fairy? Okay. Ah, man, that sucks. I really wish... Okay, so that's Damn, that's mandatory. Okay. I hate having to do that now, but I'm gonna fire off Raigeki.
I'll take a 1-for-1 with Raigeki, that's fine.
Alright, I'm gonna banish my Flying Kamakiri, a Sylphid.
You got it.
Which I really wish were Wing Beast. I'm going to...
Yeah, about that.
I'm going to set a monster, and let's hit
in.
for 17.
17 in. Draw for turn.
And I'll pass.
Standby main. I'm going to just set a monster and pass for now.
Right, I draw. Standby main. Do I want to do that? Well, I need to push. I'm going to flip my Magician of Faith.
That's pretty bad.
Then I'm going to go ahead and retrieve Raigeki.
Yep.
I will fire Raigeki off.
Seemed like great minds thought alike this time.
And I'm going to run out of...
So that's
Unfortunately,
4K.
This is not enough to kill.
Right.
And I will pass.
Draw for turn. Standby main. Well, think I just have to go for it here. I'm going to make Freed the Brave Wanderer, and then I'm just going to make him really big.
Okay. Oh, crap.
I am going to send 20... I'm going to send 32 into your Magician of Faith.
Alright, so that's 2,900.
2,900, yes. Then second main, I'm going to prohibit Harpy Lady.
Fuck.
And I will pass the turn. I'm pretty sure the card in your hand is a Harpy Lady. Based on the way you've been playing this game.
That's such a strong, accurate thought. Okay, that kind of sucks.
I've played this deck before. I know that Harpy's Hunting Ground is mandatory, so you didn't want to summon a Harpy Lady, because then you'd have to pop your own Hunting Ground.
Yeah.
Draw for turn.
Tactical Retreat.
Standby main. Well, you've already used one sack. I'm actually going to set this first. Then I'm going to go to battle, and I'm going to try to take out your Sylphid. So that way I don't have to discard a card.
Alright.
Go!
Draw. Standby, main. Ooh. Does that actually help me? Does this actually help me at all? Don't think it does. Damn. Okay. Well, okay. This requires a little bit of thinking, but okay. I'm gonna activate Call of the Haunted. I'm going to bring back my Sangan.
Sure.
Then I'm going to summon out my Hand of Nephthys.
Oh, Sacred Phoenix? To proc Sangan.
So we're gonna go ahead and special summon out our Phoenix.
Yup, that's the cover card.
And Sangan's effect will proc, which will get me... here we go. My Exiled Force.
You have normal this turn, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so your hand is Exiled Force and an unknown that I highly suspect is a Harpy Lady of some kind. Alright. Draw for turn, standby, main. Now I gotta think. Yeah, I gotta do the thinking now. I think I have it. I'm gonna normal summon a 2K Blade Knight. Then I'm gonna flip up my Iron Blacksmith Kotetsu. I am going to get a copy of Big Bang Shot. I am going to Big Bang Shot the Freed. So that makes Freed a 30. That makes Freed a 3,600. I'm going to go to battle phase. I'm going to hit over your Sky Scout for 3,000.
And that's enough.
Then Blade Knight cleans up the Nephthys, and Iron Blacksmith Kotetsu gets there for the last 500 points of damage.
Well, shoot. So if I would have summoned my Phoenix and attack, I would have been able to survive.
Correct.
Oh, well.
Let's go! Let's go!
Damn.
I cannot believe that actually got you. This was such a high roll deck, but when I had the Vilos, yup.
In fact, I had drawn that the turn before you played Prohibition, and that's what it was. I was looking, I was like, can I play this without popping my own card? No, I can't. Okay.
I was wondering if you were going to set.
Enough.
I was wondering if you were gonna set another card from your hand so that you could actually summon that out and not have to pop your hunting ground.
Well, that's the problem. The only other card I had in my hand that I could have set was Raigeki.
Ooh, yeah.
So I didn't really have a choice.
I actually thought that you might run the water deck back, which is why I went for this strategy, because I have Lightning Blade, and most of my monsters are warriors. So, nice Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys. Was it ultimate rare?
No, it was ultra rare.
Mine was ultimate. You got 2 of them?
That one was ultimate. Yeah, I got 2 of them.
So yeah.
And I also got this as well.
I actually got some. I don't think it's necessarily playable.
I actually got some decent luck on this one.
But I got some pretty cool stuff. I got this. That's an ultimate rare also.
Ooh, that's pretty nice, actually.
I've seen this in person before. That is a pretty ultimate rare.
It really is. And it's a good card if you can find a way to cheat it out. Like, in our case, we have to cheat it out, or we have to use a substitute since we don't have access to Lord of Dragons.
You do.
But
well, you don't have this card, but
I don't. I didn't.
Oh, you didn't take the deck,
card.
Right? You didn't take the deck, right? This does get a couple reprints down the line, but I was actually thinking, when I opened this King Dragoon, I was actually thinking about building around this by playing something like Tribute Doll.
Tribute Doll wouldn't be that bad.
Because the idea is you get a level 7 out, and then you can metamorphosis into King Dragoon, and then start throwing out big bodies. But Benkai came in this set. I wanted to play the water deck first, but I figured you would be expecting that, and that was clearly the right call when you were playing Harpy's Hunting Ground. So I decided to go for this Benkai deck instead. I think you've seen everything. The big reason why I went for this deck is because remember when I was complaining I didn't have these before?
How'd you get those?
I spent rare wildcards for all of those.
Oh, wow. I mean, honestly, they're a good investment for that, especially for a warrior build.
Oh yeah. Also, if you blew me out with a sack, this was my backup plan.
Christ. That's a good... Honestly, Chaos is a really good side option.
It is, yeah.
At this point.
But that was a really good set. But we have a lot of things to discuss.
Alright, so we got some game promos that we need to catch up on.
Yes, there are a lot of promotional cards that were released at or around this time. And we are going to begin with the Destiny Board Traveler promotional cards. These are some cards that I've been looking forward to for quite some time, because unlike some of the last video games that we've had, there are some pretty tremendously impactful video game promos that have seen meta play during this time, including the one that I'm going to take out of Destiny Board Traveler, which is the DD Assailant.
Yeah, that kind of hurts to lose that one, because that one's a big card.
Oh yeah, DD Assailant's a big card. It's another DD Warrior Lady, and that's not an easy card for us to get a hold of.
And honestly, as much as I don't really like any of the other options, I think I'm going to go ahead and take Emmy's the Infinity as my pick.
And that will leave Twin-Headed Beast for me.
Because that's the thing. It's a pain in the rear to summon, but it gets 700 attack every time it destroys a monster, so hey, a 2 tribute that goes up to 3200? That's not bad.
And then moving on to our next video game promos, we have the Capsule Monster Coliseum cards, which has Abyss Soldier, which I will gladly put in the Legendary Ocean deck. This card was semi-limited back in the day.
This is one of my favorite video games of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series in general. In fact, I remember my cousin had this game, and I ended up borrowing it from them for God knows how many years, to the point where when I finally went to give it back, they were like, nah, screw it, just keep it. Like, they forgot that they even had it in the first place. Honestly, I think I might just take Teva.
Okay.
Because whenever summon, you can't attack next turn, which, if I actually plan to use it, God knows, but at least it's something.
Then that will leave the Inferno Hammer for me. And then we have the World Championship 2005 promotional cards. This is actually a pretty big decision for me because one thing that you may have noticed if you've been paying attention to all the promotional cards and all the pulls is I have 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons. So as tempting as it is to take Kaibaman, I think I'm actually going to take the Mind Control because Mind Control is going to be very, very strong going forward.
True. And honestly, I think I'm going to go ahead and take the Kaibaman then because I have 1 Blue Eyes, which, we sat down and worked it out later after the fact. And yeah, I only have 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon. He has the multiple. But hey, this might actually work out. And like you said, you've got 3. I really don't want you having this as well.
I'm sure of that, but I think the Mind Control is going to be a much better investment long term, especially once we get more summoning mechanics.
Oh, definitely.
And even now, it's not bad either, because you can take face-down monsters with it and get flip effects, perhaps. But we do have 2 more items to discuss. One of them is going to be a card that I will be able to add to my collection. This is about the time where the Shonen Jump comics started putting unique cards in here. One of them is Archfiend of Gilfer. I don't know if I'm going to use this. It's a 1 tribute fiend that has a pretty big body on both sides and a somewhat relevant effect. I don't know if I'm going to be able to play this, but I will be able to add it to the collection. And then, before we go to the wheel, we do need to discuss another big animal in the room. You might recall that every single card will be available to us in one way or another. That includes the Shonen Jump Championship prize cards. So the way we're going to be handling this is on the singles wheel, we have added a wedge that is the same size as the Secret Rare Wildcard wedge, called SJC Prize Chance. If you spin this, you will get to respin for another wildcard. However, in addition to that, that wedge will give you a chance to win the current Shonen Jump prize card. You win it by winning your next duel. And then once that prize card has been won by one person, that wedge will disappear until the next prize card is printed.
Yeah, this was a big duel for that reason alone, because have you mentioned what the card itself is?
Yes, it is Cyberstein. We do get a Cyberstein reprint a few sets down the line, but it is in a side set, and it's at rare in a set with, I believe, 30 rares, so it is very difficult to pull. But this could also be big, because one of the upcoming magazine promos that we'll have access to in the next 2 sets is Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon.
Yeah, so this was going to be a huge pickup a good pickup chance for someone. So the fact that I lost on this one kind of bites, but oh well.
And that wedge will stay on the wheel until someone wins it. Until either someone wins it or the next prize card is revealed. It's not until late in the year. So with that, I think I'm going to head over to the prize wheel for the last time in the Duel Monsters era.
Yep, and then once we finish our spin, well, actually, should we discuss our bans first before we do the spins? Because if we hit a wild card, that might make an impact on what happens depending on our bans.
We do need to take that trip over to the Hall of Eternity. So let's go ahead and go over there now then. Alright, welcome back to our second trip to the Hall of Eternity. And this will be our last trip while we were still in the DM era. So according to our chart, because I have 4 wins and you have 3 wins, you will get to ban 3 cards during this round of bans, and I will get to ban 2 cards. So you will get both the first word and the last word, which is something I'm sure you're excited about.
Yeah, the bans on this round are going to be very important for us too. And right from the jump, I already know what my first one's going to be. It is Curse of Darkness. I am sick and tired of getting nailed for 1,000 just to try to do something against you.
Curse of Darkness does not surprise me as a ban at all. It is IO light, so I am perfectly okay with that card being removed from the format and us getting our spells back. So if that's your first ban, I'm going to go with my original plan and ban the game-winning card that has no business being in any Yu-Gi-Oh format ever, and that's going to be Chaos Emperor Dragon Envoy at the end.
Come on! I didn't even summon it against you!
That card does not belong in the format.
Oh, man. You know what? Fine. I guess I have to understand that one.
That was the only one that I was really sure what I wanted to do. So, Demon, I need to ask you, what card would you like to remove from the format forever?
Let me think about it for a quick second. Let's see. What were the other big cards you've been a pain with? Okay, so for my second pick of the ban, I'm gonna go with Secret Barrel. The reason for this one is just because you're able to get like 2,000 damage off on me on a single play, and when you're able to set 2 or 3 of these at once, it makes it way too hard for me to come back on it.
Oh, I absolutely do not blame you for banning Secret Barrel. That control deck has been just an absolute menace for you ever since I built it after the Invasion of Chaos episode. It's been a huge thorn in your side, and I don't blame you. So now, my second pick is going to be a little bit surprising. I thought about one of the staples, but we're going to have a lot of options to get those staples later on, and I think it's going to lead to a much healthier format. For instance, if we both have a board wipe or we both have Graceful Charity instead of just one of us having it. So I'm not actually going to ban a staple this time. I'm going to ban a card that hasn't seen much play yet, but is going to see an increasing amount of play the further we get into GX. I'm going to ban Trap Dust Shoot.
You know what? I'm actually not opposed to that one. Mostly because of 2 reasons. The first is what you just said. We're going to see it a lot in the future. And also, here's a fun little fact. I don't have any of them.
Wow.
So you you unintentionally played yourself on that one.
I can't believe that. That's a comment. You got 0 Trap Dust Shoot.
I know, right? Like, I remember when I first pulled the packs, I was like, yeah, we're each gonna get at least 1 or 2. It's gonna be good. And then I built my deck, and I was like, oh, I whiffed on that completely. That's not good.
Like, even if you had Trap Dust Shoot, I still think it's a pretty toxic card.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But that was inevitably going to happen, and it's just hilarious that I banned a card that was not in your pool. I have 3 of them, but I just think it's a card that doesn't belong in the format. Alright, so Demon, you get the last word. What do you want gone?
I know exactly what I want to ban, and this is actually one where I actually have copies of this myself, so this is actually going to hurt. For my last ban, I'm going to opt to take out Gyaku Jirei Panda.
I don't blame you for that one either. That whole deck is such a pain in the butt. I didn't think you were going to pull the trigger on Panda now, but I thought Panda's days were numbered, because all 3 of those cards, especially with the whole Ojama Trio, I honestly thought you were going to go after Ojama Trio before you went after Panda. Because Panda
Admittedly, I was very much tempted to go for Ojama Trio, but I have a couple ideas down the line that might make use of that card, and I don't necessarily want to cut it off at the pass yet. And on top of that, as much as I personally want to stop things like Gravity Bind, like L-Lab, the thing is, we do have strategies that can work with them, and we also are going to have plenty of access to back row removal to get rid of them, so in that regard I feel like they're balanced. Whereas this thing, none of the floodgates that we have can stop it, and unless you have a Sakuretsu armor or a Magic Cylinder or something face down, this thing is just going to wreck shop. So I'm perfectly fine with banning this now, and then figuring out the other issues later. So you're lucky. Feather Duster gets to live another day.
I can respect that decision. I actually think that with one of us having Feather Duster and the other of us having Heavy Storm, as well as the removal of these control tools, I think we're going to have a much healthier format. We're going to have significantly faster duels than before, because a lot of the control win conditions got hit. So I don't even think that the attack floodgates are necessarily going to be as good as they were anymore, because it will be difficult to kill the opponent without cards like Secret Barrel in the format. So I think this is going to lead to a lot more combat, which is exciting to watch.
Oh yeah, so this is going to be an interesting thing, and yeah, starting next week, we get to go to Duel Academy, and kick off the GX era, which a lot of people remember the GX era for having a lot of really bad core sets, and they aren't really wrong in that regard, but we do have some interesting stuff to look towards. And since we're going to have the side sets and stuff in place as well, that means that we're actually going to be able to make this a little less crappy.
Oh yeah, we have some pretty good plans for GX that I can't reveal quite yet, but you'll see those unfold in the next few episodes.
Yep. But I think it's time to finally get to the wheel and see what I hit on the catch-ups, because I need to hit something now.
It is. I cannot believe I actually got there with Benkai OTK of all things, but I think those bans are going to take the control deck out, and I'm going to need to play one of the aggro decks that I have going into GX era, but we will take another round in the winner's circle. That's 4 in a row. I'm choosing to spin for sealed product here, because I have my eyes on more of the Dark Beginning 1 set, but all of these sets are honestly fine. I'm okay with whatever I get. More sets of the core, or more packs of the core set wouldn't be a bad idea either, because then I can get some more staples out of there. But it looks like we are going to be getting 3 tournament packs. So the current tournament pack that's in rotation is Tournament Pack 5. I'm not too excited about this. This is the worst of the 3 options, but this could still have some pretty strong cards in it. It's got some interesting cards at Rare and Super Rare. The commons are not really great, but we'll see what we get. And for our first pack, we get a Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer. That's one of the really good rares that I was looking for. A Goddess with the Third Eye isn't bad either. Then we'll see what's in our second pack. Nothing special. Trap of Border Racer we already had a copy of. It is unfortunately not very good. Destruction Punch is not very good either. And then for our final pack is we got a Pyramid Turtle. That is our first Pyramid Turtle. We also got a Cursive Royal, which we did not have. We picked up a lot of cards we didn't have. So I'm okay with this outcome. If we can get some Call of the Mummy out of Dark Revelation 1, then we should actually be in pretty good shape to be able to throw together a zombie list. We do have another spin on the wheel for getting the win, so hopefully we can pick up some more cards that are relevant to our format. Looking like more tournament packs, though. And that is exactly what we will be getting. Alright, so 3 more packs of Tournament Pack 5. I wouldn't mind picking up another Kaiku, some more Pyramid Turtles. Commons are good, rares are good. We picked up a Bazu the Soul Eater. That's actually sick. That gives us a second Bazu the Soul Eater, and we could actually play Bazoo Return, because if you recall, we have a copy of Dimension Fusion. So Bazoo Return is something that we may actually be able to play. And then our second pack is nothing too special. None of these cards are really playable. And for our third pack, we wind up with a bunch of Fusion subs and a Cursive Royal. I am okay with these packs. We got a Kaiku, we got a Bazu, we got some pretty cool commons. And we will have one more chance to get these with the next set. So that's going to wrap it up for today's episode of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Progression Series. Join us next time when we enter Duel Academy for Yu-Gi-Oh! GX and the Lost Millennium. Until then, see you around.